Hello, welcome back to Paleo Talks, part 2 of our Permian episode. That is why the timeline is missing, because we are still in the same period. If you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch that. I'll give you 3 seconds to exit out of this video and go do that. Okay, welcome. Now we are talking about Inostrancivia, my personal favorite animal of the Permian period. And the not quite the Paleozoic era as a whole, but definitely my favorite terrestrial Paleozoic animal. And it is actually the largest, as of the making of this video, to my knowledge, it is the largest member of Gorgonopsidae, which are large carnivorous reptiles, almost saber tooth, as you can see right there. It's got the big teeth, and this thing is clearly a hunter. Well, it's a carnivore, obviously. It's got the big sharp teeth, the big powerful jaws, and you can see it is it's a large animal. Again, the most prominent feature are the saber teeth, which I apologize for the picture isn't very clear, but you can definitely make out the teeth very well. It is very large, as you can see. So here is our friend, the man, the myth, the legend. He really gets around, the 1.8 meter tall human. He really gets around. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of him. But you can see it is very large. 1.8 meters. It's almost 4 meters long, so very large. And the saber teeth, you just can't get rid of those, which are, believe it or not, are famous saber-tooth animals. The saber-tooth cats, most famous being Smilodon, also known as the saber-tooth tiger. It wasn't a tiger, but we'll cover them later. That was like the 4th time saber-teeth had evolved. Saber-teeth have evolved, I believe, a total of 4 times over the history of evolution. And this was the first. And here it is, the big saber teeth again. And really, the reason saber teeth evolved, in any case, is to pierce thick hides of animals. And here's Scutosaurus, its main prey source, which, as you can see, it looks like it's a very thick hide, making these saber teeth incredibly useful. And I don't know why that one's just standing around and not running, but okay. It's your funeral, buddy. Well, as you can see, it's very large. Now, appropriately, we're moving on to Scutosaurus, who is still it's a lot taller than Inostrancivia, but it's a lot shorter. But it's big, kind of, sort of like a cow or a bison, but full of armor, plate, and scales and stuff. So, this is the Paleozoic bison, ladies and gentlemen. And our buddies there again. As you can see, you can see the armor really well in this picture. This is a modern representation. And again, I'm sorry about the quality, but you could definitely see the armor, and you could see its eyes aren't very big, and it probably wasn't very smart. However, you can see the beak, and it doesn't have teeth, and that's not uncommon for prehistoric herbivores to have a beak, especially the reptilian ones, to have a beak instead of actual teeth. So I mean, you can see it right there. There he is again. You can see it's got these big, huge cheekbones, and so it probably had it was very good at grinding up tough plant matter. And these things obviously weren't very fast. But there is another creature, really small, Diectodon. So here it's not very large. Here's our buddy, the 1.8 meter tall human. You can see how tiny this thing is. This is the size of a house cat at the biggest. It's not large at all. And they dug in these burrows because, there's things like this running around outside. So I don't know, but I kind of want to be underground too, if that was running around. You can see it better in some of the other pictures, but in this picture, in this picture you can see it better. It's got these little tusks, and those are on both males and females, but they're only really used by the male. They're used by both. The females and males, they're both used for digging for roots and stuff. They help the Diectodon dig. But on males, they're also used for fighting over mates and such. These are very these are very social animals. As you can see, there's a male and a female there living in their burrow together. And a couple million years later, we actually have Lystrosaurus. So Lystrosaurus, there's our buddy, a 1.8 meter tall human. So one species grew incredibly large, like this, and they were, very big. The average size was that. So this one, traveled in large herds, massive herds of the larger species. And the smaller one lived a lot like Diectodon. It was just like Diectodon, but a little bit bigger. That's basically all it was. They still dug the burrows and stuff. You can see here is a herd of the larger species, and you can see they still have the tusk. They still have that tusk, but these became the main prey source. At this point, Inostrancivia is extinct. Diectodon is extinct, but has evolved into this. And they don't really have a lot of predators. There's a few smaller predatory animals, which actually, there's one, I apologize, I couldn't find a picture of it, but it had a venomous bite, which is actually very cool. And that's how it took these down, because it was minuscule. It was only about that big compared to the animal. So it actually, they hunted in packs and had a venomous bite that they could use to take this thing down. Also when these things were migratory, not the burrowing ones, but the larger species, was migratory, and they were susceptible, like the wildebeest herds and things, when they crossed the rivers, to attacks from prehistoric crocodiles. So for these guys, there's not a lot of predators. I will see you next time on Paleo Talks.